He was the kind of man who looked untouchable, a CEO who owned half the skyline, whose name alone could silence a boardroom. Alexander Reed, the billionaire widower everyone admired for his discipline, his silence, and his devotion to his late wife. To the world, he was strength. But behind the walls of his glass tower, he was just a man raising a little girl alone, a man still learning how to breathe in a world without love. His daughter, Amelia, was 5, a fragile thing with big brown eyes, curls like her mother's, and a laugh that had slowly started to bring warmth back into Alexander's cold home. Every morning, Alexander would drop her at the park before heading to the office. A nanny usually kept an eye on her while she played by the pond, feeding ducks or picking flowers. But one morning changed everything. It was a quiet, breezy day. The nanny had gone to answer a call when Alexander arrived earlier than usual. As he parked the car, he saw something that made him pause. Amelia, his sweet, shy daughter, was sitting on a park bench beside a woman in a faded blue coat. The woman looked tired, her hair slightly messy, her hands trembling from the cold, but Amelia was holding her hand, talking to her softly. Alexander frowned, stepping out of the car. His bodyguards, seeing his expression, immediately moved closer. "Sir, want us to—" He raised a hand. "No, I'll handle this." He walked toward them, his shoes crunching against the gravel. Amelia looked up, smiling wide. "Daddy, this is Miss Claire. She said she used to know Mommy." The words froze him mid-step. The woman slowly turned her head, and for a moment the world fell silent. Her face was pale, her eyes full of something old, something broken. "Mr. Reed," she said quietly, standing, "I didn't mean to intrude. Your daughter just dropped her toy, and I helped her pick it up. Then she asked about my necklace, and I told her your wife used to wear one just like it." Alexander studied her face. There was something hauntingly familiar about it, not in a romantic way, but in the soft tone of her voice. Amelia tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, she said she used to work with Mommy before she got sick." He blinked. "You were—" Her lips trembled. "Yes, I was. Her nurse. I was with her until the end." The world tilted for a second. Memories rushed in. His wife's hospital bed, the machines, the steady hum of time running out. He remembered a gentle woman who sang softly to calm his wife during the worst nights. He had been too lost in grief to remember her face. "Claire," he whispered. "You were the one who stayed with her that night, weren't you?" She nodded, eyes shining with tears. "I was there when she smiled and said your name one last time." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Only the wind moved, carrying the distant laughter of children. Amelia broke the silence. "Daddy, she's hungry. Can we give her food?" Alexander turned to his daughter, his chest tightening. "Hungry?" he repeated, looking back at Claire, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "Please, it's all right. I don't want pity. I just fell on hard times. My mother got sick, and I had to stop working to take care of her. Things spiraled." Her voice cracked, and she looked away. "I never wanted you to see me like this." Alexander didn't move for a long moment. He was staring not just at her, but at the echo of a woman who once held his dying wife's hand when he couldn't. Finally, he said softly, "You were there when my world fell apart. And I didn't even thank you." She shook her head. "You didn't have to." But Amelia had already taken her hand again. "Daddy, can she come with us, please?" "Mommy would want that." The simplicity of that sentence, that innocent voice, broke something inside Alexander that years of grief had sealed shut. He looked at Claire again. "Come to the house," he said quietly. "Please." She hesitated. "I can't." "I insist," he said, his tone firm but kind. "You cared for my wife when no one else did. Let me return the favor." That evening, for the first time in years, the mansion didn't feel cold. Amelia ran through the halls with laughter echoing like music. Claire sat by the fire, holding a cup of tea, her hands no longer shaking. Alexander watched them from the corner, something strange swelling in his chest. Not love, not yet, but something pure, something warm. Over the next weeks, Claire helped Amelia with her homework, told her stories about her mother's kindness, and filled the house with small moments of peace. Alexander began to notice things, the way Claire never took more than she needed, how she fixed broken toys without being asked, how she still spoke to his wife's portrait as if she were alive. One evening, as the rain poured outside, he found her in the study, packing her small bag. "Are you leaving?" he asked softly. She turned, startled. "I've overstayed. You've done too much already." He shook his head. "Claire, you reminded me what this house was missing. Laughter, compassion, grace. Don't go." She smiled sadly. "You don't need me, Mr. Reed." But Amelia ran in just then, wrapping her little arms around Claire's waist. "Don't go. Mommy likes you." Claire froze, tears spilling silently down her cheeks. Alexander stepped closer, his voice trembling for the first time in years. "Maybe she does," he whispered. "And maybe, so do I." She looked up at him, surprised, not by his words, but by the sincerity in his eyes. And in that moment, something shifted, two broken souls standing in the shadow of loss, realizing that love doesn't always come from romance. Sometimes it's born from kindness, from shared pain, from healing together. Months later, people began to notice the change. The cold CEO smiled more often. His mansion's windows glowed with warmth again. And on Amelia's birthday, as she blew out her candles, she whispered, "Mommy, thank you for sending Miss Claire." Because sometimes the people who enter our lives quietly, the ones who come when we least expect it, are the ones sent by love itself. And in that quiet house, once haunted by grief, love found its way home again, softly, gently, through the voice of a child and the heart of a nurse who never stopped caring.